to the Leap of Consciousness. I am Annie Kolatkar, and with me is my co-host, Ashley Lee. And today we're presenting a program on how you can explore belief systems so that you can make that leap of consciousness that you're working on by reverse engineering or deconstructing what your beliefs are, and how you can notice your beliefs are impacting you and triggering other consciousness challenges to come into play. Make the reframes that they notice are working against them. So oftentimes we have self-limiting beliefs and we don't know how to go about changing those so that we can really, truly begin coming from our unlimited and optimal potential.
To talk about this subject, I love reality shifting through my belief systems. I love to really examine what is a belief, what is my belief, what is your belief, what are beliefs made of? Well, they first start with this idea called acceptance, right? We have to accept that we believe in something. If we don't accept it, then really it becomes a non-belief or not a belief, right?
Exactly. So I agree, you agree,
Right.
and we all agree. These things that we're holding up to our eyes here are all oranges. So this is like that acceptance that we're talking about. We have collectively accepted that this fruit is an orange. And through consensus, we believe the statement, this fruit is an orange. And it's true and it exists.
Right? That's the first step to believing or creating a belief. Another step inside of creating a belief is really creating this idea of confidence. So we have to have confidence in ourselves to know this experience does exist. So,
yeah, and one way to look at this is when I experience trust, faith, or confidence in a person, place, or thing, I then believe that thing to be true. And oftentimes, my past experience of proof or validation of the thing allows me to know and believe that something or someone creates my reality, cementing my belief that they are believable. And this is how those central core beliefs get created, because then we end up having so much trust and faith and confidence in that central core belief.
it's really true. And then this other aspect, a larger, broader aspect, a more expanded aspect of what creates a belief is a structure, right?
So as I gather my thoughts, ideas, and concepts about what I believe in, I create a structure which results in the development of a belief system. Therefore, the belief of a person, place, or thing is a system of collected ideas that form a structure that builds the reality.
It really does. So as we explore deeper into reality shifting our beliefs, beliefs can become our reality. And so we wanted to talk for this process a little bit of a moment, because we think and emote and are so abstract in our ideas and constructs in our world that we sometimes bend reality, right?
You can have an entire family bending reality.
We sure can. So as our beliefs differ from others' points of view, we create discordances and discrepancies in a collective reality, like in our family, for example.
Right.
These incongruencies truly challenge the relating between the differing points of view, resulting in reality disorientation. Hence, when our reality is made from our beliefs, it may or may not be true. So just remembering that sometimes our beliefs are not always based in truth. They may be just based upon what we believe is true and what isn't true for everyone involved.
And that's why it's really useful to update your beliefs, because you may have created
Kind of like your
beliefs.
Rolodex.
Right. So you may have taken on beliefs in childhood, right? Because you trusted your parent, your teacher, And then all of a sudden, this is not working anymore. So you do have to explore your beliefs so that you can see, is this working for me or not?
It's really true. So let's dive deeper into this, exploring what creates a belief. So we're talking about now belief systems, right? Those a conglomeration, a bunch of little bits of information that creates a belief system. So belief is also typically creates an emotional response. And when realities are not in congruence with that which we believe in is true, that creates those discords about an ideal belief system deconstructed. So we put them into really simple little colored boxes that helped us determine what some of the aspects are, some of the little constituents of what creates a belief system. So we're going to deconstruct that in this moment. And stating in this green box is the situation or any form of relating. So how we're relating with you, for example. And then when we add in an optimal condition like Zoom or video conferencing working really well, we equate that to an opportunistic belief, believing that consciousness, for example, will help us further understand what constitutes or creates a belief system. And from that, we develop inside of that example is an emotional response, a masterful emotional response. And the reason why it's masterful is we have the opportunity to be aware, to be conscientious, to be conscious of what emotional responses we are having in that moment. And that's creating that ideal belief system. And inside that orients us to a reality of optimal conditions that are non-limiting with flexible belief systems that render consensus to the situation. So noticing these easy boxes, these basic boxes to understand how we constitute and develop a belief system. Now we're going to go a little bit deeper into a situation to describe a belief system can be deconstructed. So for example, on the top box here, we have a situation. The picture depicts a road that you're on in a situation, and you have what you perceive as two choices. So the situation in this environment is it's cold outside. And now we're going to add in the condition, which is the part is which road and the belief system in this when it's cold outside. The condition is to where there's a belief to say, I will stay healthy. So now let's apply that to our situational beliefs. Okay, so the situation is the same. It's cold outside. If I'm going to choose and go on the right side of the road, I'm going to say that the condition is I have a jacket to wear. And then my belief is, from the other belief is I'll stay healthy, is I am healthy. This produces an emotional response, which can be happy and confident. It's cold outside. I've got a jacket to wear. I'm going to wear it. And from that, I have a belief is I'm going to stay healthy.
And your critter brain, your survival brain will be like, I'm safe.
I'm safe and happy. And I'm confident that this is going to work. And so what it does is it creates a positive reality. However, the positive reality, though, is conditional, that I have to have a jacket. When it's cold outside, I am going to be healthy. So that's an inflexible one. It says this plus equals this, and that's all that there is. That's not really true, as we're going to explore deeper into these deconstructing belief systems. So it renders that way. So let's talk about situation number 2. Same situation. It's cold outside, but I'm going to choose the side. I'm going to go left. So the thing is I don't have a jacket and it's cold outside. But originally, I have a belief that I have to wear a jacket in order to stay healthy. So now the situation is it's cold outside. The condition is I don't have a jacket. And now the belief is I will become unhealthy. So it creates an emotional response of concern or worry. And we're either aware of this or unaware of this, based upon how aware we are of our belief system. And so this creates a negative reality. It's conditional. I don't have a jacket. And it's inflexible belief system because I'm going back on the original belief system that I'll stay healthy when I wear a jacket when it's cold outside. Systems, and it renders fear, usually always. So let's talk about a third opportunity, because as we deconstruct belief systems, we're able to look at other opportunities, other examples, and other shifting of our belief systems, right, in order to render a different outcome. So what we want to look at is the situation is still the same. It's still cold outside. And the cool thing is I can go right or left, or I can stay right where I am, or go backwards. I haven't learned to fly yet, but that's coming soon.
It's up and down are other options.
But in this situation, it's cold outside. And so permanent for the belief, or the emotional response, or the reality to be created, right? We can shift it. So we shifted the condition, I do or don't have a jacket. Now the new belief is, I am the source of my health, not that it's cold outside, and not that I do or don't have a jacket. So let's say that the situation is cold outside, I don't have a jacket, and I'm still good if I don't have one. So what that means is that I can adjust. That's the new belief. I am rendered is peaceful and calm, usually. Reality. Absence of the condition creates flexible belief systems, which renders unlimited potential. And that's what we really wanted to share with you today, recognizing that you could take the sleep of consciousness by shifting your reality through understanding and shifting your belief systems. Called stories distract us from noticing what they could be as old stories, right? Old stories that distract us from noticing our beliefs. So in this picture, right, we're gathering the idea that from his picture, his lips and has some highs and some reactions to eating these oranges, and he clearly isn't happy. Stories around this idea of what created him to react with an allergy, an autoimmune response, a hyperactive response, maybe did the acid in the oranges, those sort of things that give us that. But what if the story is deeper? What if the story, and he goes to his grandmother's house, right, in the moment, and his grandmother has this, oranges are sweet and they make him feel good, and they're made with grandmother's love. They come from her tree, and he feels also that his life is ruined, it's wrecked, nothing can, he will never be loved because his parents are getting a divorce. So he has this violent reaction to these oranges because they're not synonymous with his belief system. He has an internal conflict, which he doesn't know how to resolve. And he thought that the oranges would actually remedy the situation, right? But it didn't. And so in these stories, these kinds of stories we tell ourselves, they impact our beliefs. And so as I see and feel proof of the situation before me, I develop beliefs about what is or isn't possible. Right? And so from these beliefs, I develop a story around my past experiences. These stories radically from noticing my deeper and possibly unconscious beliefs, right, about what happened or what is possible. And so that's why we want to make sure the stories can be fun, and it can be very illustrative, and they can add depth and breadth to our experiences. But also there may be hidden belief systems inside these stories that are distracting us from really noticing how we can shift our reality. And so let's talk for just a moment about emotional responses to our stories. We had a lot.
Yes, we did. Ashley knows that I'm a picky eater. And so we had a good giggle on this one. Emotional responses are just, we link up things in our brain about different things, and it's all due to the stories and the beliefs that are fueling stories. So when I react to the story that I told myself was true about my situation, I did. So for example, that my hands are tied to create change. So consequently, emotions become our response to stories that we believe were true. So just remember that emotional responses of this string of beads that we're sharing with you. It's just one of the items, so that you could start writing down what one of your beliefs is, and then draw a line and say, what are my emotional responses to that? And what are the stories I have around this? And start filling in all of those as you begin to deconstruct your belief systems.
Yeah, so that you can really decide to either stay with it, adopt a new belief, and or shift it altogether. This child believes he has to eat an orange, and he wants to radically share with his family members or his parents that he's not interested in having an orange. And he's doing an excellent job explaining it through a story called Wearing a Gas Mask. But clearly, what would be more fascinating, quite possibly, is to help this young gentleman really understand what are the stories behind his beliefs about eating an orange. So what if he doesn't have to eat an orange? What if he can understand what prevented him and closed down his energy and his possibilities and potentials in not wanting to have an orange? What are the past stories that he brought into this situation that created this radical of an emotional response to oranges, right? So those are ways in which we can reality shift ourselves that we didn't know we could do. So now we get to change our stories. Isn't that nice? So this one is funny. We have to first start, right, with disentangling where our story is, conflict that's involved inside of the story.
Let's just say it's a he, at his image in that little Post-it note drawing there, okay? So that is a projection on the other orange. So it's like looking in a mirror, to use the projection idea. And the orange on the left can't even see how the other orange is feeling. And it creates a little denial, okay, of what's really going on, because all you really want to see is that what he believes is true, right? So as I work to separate the assumptions, remember, reactive mind consciousness creates all kinds of responses to triggers. So as I work to separate the story from my reactive emotions that cause me to deny my beliefs about what the story truly represented, as my awareness remained hidden from my true potential. The reframe to this situation is I consciously choose to disentangle the emotional response to the story, to reframe my beliefs about my situation. So the orange on the left would really have to go neutral and let go of the projections.
That everything's got to be happy.
Yes, in order to see that, you know, his friend on the right is actually unhappy with whatever this situation is.
Right. We're going to go a little deeper into this topic, which is so much fun.
So here we have an inner boardroom situation, and we have our two friends with the orange on the left is denying the story and only wants to see that the orange before him on the right is happy, and it's not true. So we made up a little story so that you could put this into context. So the one that's accepting the story, right? Let's say that this is someone's inner boardroom, okay, made up of soul parts or aspects of self, okay? And let's say that that is the part of you that knows how to make tens of millions of dollars, okay? And is not happy with the orange that's denying the story, because maybe this orange is into couponing and being cheap or trying to find an angle or you know, is basically not living to its full potential. And the red seat, the hot seat, is maybe the ego that bought into the one denying the story. So you
The
have,
happy one.
yeah. So, you know, every time this couponer goes into woohoo, I save $5, whooshing, you might have the ego buying into this distorted reality, and it's driving the experience. So the one that is accepting the story is saying, gosh, we're not living up to our full potential.
We could be making tens of millions of dollars.
And so you have these other oranges going around the table that are other parts inside and
Our inner boardroom.
that are in consensus with the distorted reality on the left.
Yeah.
So you've got 2, 4, 6 oranges that are into couponing, and the one that's the inner millionaire that knows how to create and produce true wealth is not being allowed to express. So somehow there's consciousness challenges, maybe lack consciousness, maybe you know, a belief that others are stupid if they don't use coupons. Maybe there's embarrassment consciousness going on. There can be a whole conglomeration of consciousness challenges based on beliefs, okay? And so what we have here is an internal dilemma, an internal conflict that needs healing. So here, let's read the statement. As my inner boardroom shares a distorted reality that impacts the relating, conflict and discord become evident. When I explore the distorted reality, I can then disentangle the stories from my beliefs that created an emotional response. And the reframe, I consciously choose to conflict resolve my inner differences. So when we become aware that we have, you know, an internal civil war going on between our parts that want to express differently, we can actually move into acknowledgement, which brings us into acceptance. So the one that's denying the story can let go of the need for everything to be happy and actually accept, oh gosh, I'm actually not doing anyone a favor here.
And maybe moving this post pad or this wall or
saying,
this
I
mirror.
let that go, that judgment that everything has to be happy.
Everything
Yeah.
has to be happy. And I can
Right.
see the sad part of me and discuss with this sad part of me, oops, right?
Yeah.
Ripple it away
Right.
and discuss that we can actually bring in our giftedness and bring in that $10 million part.
Is my
So what constitutes a reality is where we're moving to, so that we can actually discuss these parts of us. And so we thought this was a really awesome one to this consciousness challenge called What's in It for Me, right?
Yeah, so I don't want to waste my time if this doesn't serve me, as I need to benefit from my investment to experience the optimal outcome. So you might even be thinking, gosh, you know, if this leap of consciousness show that Annie and Ashley are putting on doesn't have enough value, then I'm going to feel like my time, my energy, my resources. So the reframe for what's in it for me consciousness, so we don't move into that anymore, and we owe to experiencing even more than what we release my judgments. But the experience needs to be worthwhile. I now choose to consciously reframe my unconscious taking without reciprocating my energies and resources.
Right.
So consciousness challenges basically distort our realities through the multitudes of fear consciousnesses
That are buried inside of those challenges.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so let's talk for just a moment about what creates and what is the tapestry of a reality. And we wanted to reverse engineer this just a little bit to share with everybody what does create a reality, our own reality in the moment. Okay, and so in this tapestry of woven rope, right, and what our reality is in the moment is it's basically broken down into three basic areas: thoughts, emotions, and belief systems. And from those thoughts, for example, we can move into conscious thoughts, so those ones that we're aware of, the unconscious thoughts, the ones we're not aware of, and the perceptions that around us, right? So what do we see, hear, feel, know, experience in moment? Those give us those perceptual thoughts. Then the other one, this pink one, is so beautiful in the idea of what creates emotions. And we are the source of our emotions. We create them many, many times. And so from that, and what breaks it down is conscious emotions, unconscious emotions, and then those overall feelings that kind of physically move through our body. And then that third aspect that creates a reality in the moments is our belief systems. We bring them into the mix as well. Our conscious beliefs, what we're aware of, and our unconscious beliefs, most of those are societal beliefs or sociological beliefs or familiar belief systems or values that our family gave us, for example. And then all the stories that were connected to these belief systems. And that defines a tapestry of reality in our moment of understanding. And so then we're going to dive into that. We're going to share also that our reality shares ways in which we relate to ourselves and the world. So let's talk about that for just a moment on a very fun one. The tapestry of and you fill in the word. And in here we use distracted as an example.
Because we've all been distracted, especially when we're being challenged, right?
Exactly.
And we don't know something, right? We manifest distractions in our lives.
We sure do. And so when we're distracted, for example, in the thoughts realm, we may not be comfortable with I don't know the answer, so I'm going to get distracted. Unconsciously, I may be thinking, I despise not knowing. Right. And some of the situation, what we despise of it, the perception of it, of the consciousness challenge would be stupid conscious. I don't want to be stupid. And so then there's an emotional response from that creates distractedness, which is feeling unsettled that I don't know, or feeling embarrassed that I don't know, or gathering the overall feeling that flows through my physical body, which is I feel less than. I feel good. And then in those belief systems, right, I need to escape bad feelings. It's not okay not to know. And what if it is procrastination is my friend, right? Because we could believe that.
I think I'll go check my Facebook account.
Right.
Oh, do I have any text messages?
Right, so we wanted to deconstruct this for you so that you could actually really see the ways in which we distract ourselves or we create consciousness challenges in our lives. And that brings us to a greater sense of understanding and really brings us through this enlightened space of what creates the tapestry of our reality. And this one's pretty fun. We wanted to really create how we perceive the tapestry of our reality. And what are the perceptions and what are the aspects that contribute, for example, here as an undesired situational event. And so what are some of the aspects? We definitely have more. We're very abstract peoples. But in the meantime, what are some of those examples of consciousness challenges that were built from fear that really adds to an undesired situational event?
So let me put this into a little bit of context. When Ashley and I work with clients or family or friends, they bring an undesirable situation to us and say, okay, I have this symptom, right? Or, I have a conflict. And what we end up doing is when we check in, we realize, oh my gosh, there's like 6, now there's 12, now there's 700 consciousness challenges at play in this event that either triggered you or you triggered others, that triggered them to throw the ball back at you, and then you got triggered by that, and back and forth it went until this entire thing got woven. And what we notice when we deconstruct the conflict and we start looking at the root cause, we find that there's all these different strands that have woven together to create the conflict, okay? So on the consciousness challenge side, you might have lost consciousness, pity, distracted, unavailable consciousness. You might be running an internal program of I need to know consciousness, or grudge consciousness, antagonistic, squander, jealous, addiction, time, or lack consciousness. And then there are these societal beliefs that we have either gone into acceptance of and made our own, or we had trust and faith in the ones who taught it or shared it with us, and we just went into agreement. So some of these might be being authentic will get you in trouble. Doing what you're told will please everyone. Keeping the peace is most important. Being different will always keep you separate. You need to come last. Your needs come last. We don't know any better. Gosh, we just don't know any better. Be your brother's keeper. Oh, you'll never get ahead. Money doesn't grow on trees. You'll never get off the hamster wheel. There's not enough to go around. It's hard to get ahead. Did you notice some of the emotions that I put in those? Like, it's hard to get ahead, right? There's like this disappointment. There's, just energies of difficulty and wow. I mean, it's all about, there's the lack consciousness speaking. There's the time. Oh, I don't have enough time to work on my, ideas so that I can get ahead. And all of these start to intersect each other and create other new beliefs and other consciousness challenges. The beauty of this is when you go in to explore what your consciousness challenges are, you end up removing the thread. Okay.
Right.
So let's say you work on lack consciousness, that red thread that's on the left side. Well, if you heal lack consciousness within yourself from all 5 perspectives, you can pull that thread out, and then perhaps in the process of doing so, you recognize what some of your beliefs are, and then one of your other 2 or 3 other beliefs may get reframed. So you may let go of your needs come last, and it's hard to get ahead, and there's not enough to go around. Just keeps going, and it doesn't allow you time or energy or resources to do what you really want to be doing. So by healing lack consciousness, you make that leap of consciousness, and it allows you to dissolve, to heal by conflict resolving the undesired situational event.
It's really true. So as you unravel this tapestry of undesired situational events, you can start to weave a desired situational event. Challenges through conflict resolution and step into empowered state combined with supportive emotional responses to these. And because you are the source of your feelings, you get to create your feelings and how you view these new belief systems and these new processes that you are creating to formulate a situational event. So for example, you can add in these empowered states of being called
peace, empathy, ineffable, clarity, in service to us, divine witnessing, augmented synergy, heart-centered consensus, appreciation, presencing of oneself, commitment to self-love, and pronoia. So these are empowered states of being that rarely get expressed when there's consciousness challenges present, okay? And if we were to look at the quality of the thread that was making up this woven piece, maybe we could say that consciousness challenges are full of thorns and burrs. And these empowered states of being are silky and smooth and soft, comforting, and they don't hurt or harm anyone. And then on the emotional side, we actually begin to express higher frequencies. We're no longer in the dread of the world. We're now expressing optimism and trust, and we're cheerful. We might be exhilarated or excited. We could be calm. We could be serene or confident, courageous, willing. Certainly, we could be focused and delighted in achieving.
We really are. And then we move into this realm where when we create it in our own selves, we then start to move into working with others. And when we start to work with others, we create these concepts called reality negotiation. And we all know from reality negotiation inside consciousness challenges, and many times those are based on not so good outcomes, are they?
That's true.
Right? We negotiate with manipulation. We negotiate with I'm right and you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
We negotiate with I'm bigger and you're smaller, or I'm older and you're younger, or I'm the boss and you're the servant, or whatever it is. We start developing these hierarchical types of ways to win the conversation or win the negotiation or win the reality. And instead, as we create our tapestry, right, of reality through a desired situation, we move into a whole nother stratosphere of opportunities, of realities we haven't yet really known to do with each other.
Very true. And one of the things that Ashley and I have always been very consistent principle that is really heart-centered, right? It comes from the space of love. It's in service to us. So one question you might ask the next time you're together with another person or in a small group or a large group is everyone's cup full? Because episode we had self-love and our daily commitment to practice self-love. So let's say we have these 4 beautiful ropes. Okay, let's just say that these ropes practice self-love every day so that they are full, they are healthy. Okay, we don't see any problems with the ropes. So we then could ask the group, what needs might the group have? The red rope is sharing with the other 3, I really just, I want to exercise today. I really love that. And the green rope says, yeah, me too. I really want to test my strength. But maybe the yellow-orange rope is saying, I'm happy to do anything. I just want the company. And the blue rope says, I'd like to practice my leadership skills. May I lead the group in doing something together? And so what we're really looking at is when we go into include everyone so that no one is left out, they're putting together their ideas and their needs, and then together they get to decide the overall goal. And how can everyone participate with whatever their limitations are? So if green rope, for example, wanted to test the strength, but is afraid to the point where, green rope hasn't been doing self-love and is in really bad shape today, you may want to include green in a demonstration of testing rope strength. And maybe green sits out on the side while red, yellow, and blue perform some structural feat, and green is an observer and a cheerleader and something else that works well.
A blended reality.
And I love this slide because this is what in service to us creates. When we go through those steps of what does everyone need? Is it going to be good for everyone? And that is what creates heart-centered consensus and opportunity to create something wonderful together, and none is left out. So this configuration of the ropes meets everyone's needs. Blue got to guide green, red, orange, and yellow, yeah, into this configuration, and green got to test his strength, and red got to exercise, and orange got to feel the companionship that it was looking for in joining with others and sharing an experience.
Even though they all had different goals and different ideas of how to blend the reality together. It's really beautiful, and that's really where we notice and support everyone in creating their leap of consciousness through heart-centered consensus consciousness. So we invite you to really deepen this as an invitation really to shift to enroll in our remote transmission energy healing program called the Leap of Consciousness, right? We have so many different programs that augment this whole process to really take that leap of consciousness. And this is an energy transmission program where 2 healers are sending you an energy packet over the airwaves remotely that you're tuning in at 9 p.m. your time zone every Wednesday evening in your space and place on the planet, which is so beautiful. And you get to tune into your inner guidance. And each week, there are 12 weeks of our energy healing program that coincide with these TV episodes. So we enjoy you to go to Awake TV, see episode number 1, and then go with week 1 in our energy transmission, because that content on the TV show correlates with the content in the energy packet that we're sending you to support you, and you specifically, you uniquely, to clear your consciousness challenges that are impacting, for example, this week, in your ability to shift your reality through your belief systems. And so in this week's opportunity in our energy healing program, what you get to do is clear those consciousness challenges to really step into that empowered state of being, so that you're creating your desired situational event, right? So that's how these energy transmission programs correlate with these TV shows, so that you can see and feel and really begin to integrate these into your everyday life. We invite you to live the fullest life you truly choose to create in your world.
And you can find this program at leapofconsciousness.com.
Yes, enroll today. We are so excited to meet you in the meditative state.
So next episode is our final episode of 12 amazing, life-enriching, transformational opportunities that we've given you. And this is where you get to paint the life that you would like to choose, that you desire. And we do this by choosing to be spiritually sovereign. And the 11 weeks that lead up to this are all paving the road for you to be able to do this. So thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure to offer our knowledge and our wisdom, and we hope that you're able to get lots out of this to make that leap of consciousness.
And we really support you every Wednesday evening in our remote transmissions to really integrate it physically in your life, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, in all aspects, so that you get to express your true giftedness in the world.
Exactly. We'll see you next time.